Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Welcome in. We are live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. Love talking to our next guest, the great Sal Paolantonio, on a weekly basis throughout the football season. He joins us now on the progressive guest line. Vito's son, welcome into the program. I have to say that your Instagram account today made me laugh a couple of times. Sal Pal ESPN on Instagram. You have the author of the book Inner Excellence, Jim Murphy, who was underground the way it looked today in the tunnel meeting A.J. Brown, and then a photo with A.J. Brown and you, and he's holding the book. Everybody's in good spirits about this, huh?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think what A.J. Brown has done is really remarkable when you think about it, right? The book just shot up to number 1 on Amazon. It was number 5,000. and, you know, he has reached people who really needed help. I mean, genuinely people who are looking for guidance and help. And the book is terrific. I read the book since he read it on the sideline. I've been reading passages of the book. I went and got it at my local library because it was all sold out at Barnes & Noble here locally.
Wow.
But just think about the thousands and thousands of people all over the world that he has reached. It's a powerful, powerful thing that he has done. So people that were looking for something to read to help them, whether it was mental health that they needed help with or just guidance in their life. It's a very soulful and interesting book. And to sit down, not only with the author, Jim Murphy, but A.J. Brown, you know, he's really proud of what he has done, what he has accomplished, because this is a very meaningful and inspiring thing.
Okay, does A.J. have a good game, a productive game on Sunday? He had more than 100 yards and was prolific the first time they met, as did Saquon Barkley. And by the way, how much snow are we expecting in this game?
Okay, snow. We're going to have snow. We're going to have a snow game. Definitely going to have a snow game. And so I sent you some numbers on Matthew Stafford, 18-3 as the Rams quarterback in January and December. However, and there's always a but, right, Mitch and Pauly, but in the 6 playoff games that Matthew Stafford has been the quarterback of the Los Angeles Rams, 3 were in the comfy confines of SoFi Stadium. Once was in the cozy Tampa Raymond James Stadium. Another one was in the Dome in Detroit. And then, of course, the last one in Arizona. He has never played in the snow on the East Coast in the month of January. So this is going to be something different. That's completely foreign and different environment for the Los Angeles Rams and Matthew Stafford. It's going to be snow, freezing rain, super cold. Game time temperature is 16 degrees with winds howling.
Ooh. It's
going to be different. No question. No question. And, you know, the other thing is what I like to call BBC, the backdoor Barkley cover. Every time he gets a chance to run it into the end zone in the fourth quarter, he does it. He didn't last week because the game was wrapped up, but the Eagles covered anyway. The Barkley backdoor cover in this situation will be huge. You know, you look at it, first time he played the Packers, he had 109 yards rushing, then 119. He rushed for 66, then 167 against Dallas, 146, then 150 against Washington. What the heck's he going to do against the Rams? He had 255 the first time. Is he going to go for 300 in this game? I think because of the small defensive line of the Rams and the Eagles' offensive line, that this is an Eagles game. I have them winning. I have them covering 27-17.
Oh, so it's rare that you can win a playoff game yet be disgusted by your play and performance. What do you think of Hurts, and do you expect him? You know, it looked like the rust and some short arms, some throws, and how bad they were offensively with the lack of passing game. What do you expect from the passing attack, especially if we're going to have weather?
Well, you never know with the weather, but I think they're going to have enough, right? So, gentlemen, you know, in this offense, if he's throwing the ball 20 times a game, that's going to be enough. It doesn't have to be super prolific. You don't want him turning into Justin Herbert and throwing the ball all over the yard, and then the ball gets intercepted. They are a run-based offense, and that's what you'll see in this football game. But I do think that A.J. Brown will have a game.
Okay.
Remember now, he had 6 catches on 7 targets for 109 yards. But for some reason, the Rams played him a lot of man-to-man coverage. So of those 6 catches, 5 of them, and I went back and I looked at all of them in my film study, 5 of the catches were man-to-man that the Rams had on their defense for 97 yards and the touchdown. So if they do that again, if Chris Shula has no answer for Saquon Barkley and no answer for A.J. Brown, the Eagles win this football game.
All right, excellent. Sal Pal, our guest on the Progressive Guest Line. Follow the Money, Pauly and Mitch Veasan, the Sports Betting Network. The late game is Baltimore and the Bills. The Bills have won 9 in a row at home. And you go back in history, if you lose the prior meeting by 21 points or more, you're 1-14 straight up in the rematch. It was 35-10 Baltimore in the first game. What do you think of the Bills at home? Bills catching 2 here at Circa, Sal Pal.
And I think that's a good number. You know why? Because the Bills and the Ravens have the exact same point differential, 157. Exact same. So I think this will be a super close game, but I like the Bills in that environment. I don't think you can beat Josh Allen up there in a really cold night game. I like the Bills to win that game.
You do? Okay. Who are they going to be playing then? Do you think the Chiefs beat the Texans with ease on Saturday afternoon?
Well, you look at it, Patrick Mahomes II, right? He's been in 6 divisional round playoff games. He's 6-0.
Mm-hmm.
In those 6 games, he has 16 touchdown passes, no turnovers. That's a wow. So he's 6-0 in 6 divisional round playoff games with 16 touchdown passes and no turnovers. And the Houston Texans have never won a divisional round playoff game. They're 0-5. So, if you go back and you look at the last time these 2 teams played, what was the problem? Well, the problem was they exposed C.J. Stroud to too much of Steve Spagnuolo's defense. Spagnuolo dialed up 2 sacks on Stroud. Stroud had 2 picks, but he dropped back 41 times in that game. Joe Mixon had just 14 carries. The offense was totally out of balance and out of whack. If the Texans are going to have any shot in this game, they must have balance on offense, take some of the pressure off of Stroud. I just don't see it happening. I just don't. I just don't think that the Texans are capable of winning that game. I got the Chiefs winning the game, and I got the Chiefs covering.
You do? Okay, so no concern. You've been covering this sport for a long, long time, more than 30 years. No concern out of you that it's going to be 25 days between games for the Chiefs starters?
Definitely not. I think it helps.
It helps, okay.
I think the history of Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes is that it helps. That team has been, listen, they just ran the gauntlet 2 straight years to win the Super Bowl. Anytime they can get their bodies rested is good. And you got 2 coordinators, and Andy Reid's really the offensive coordinator. He's the one that runs the offense. He's the one that really designs most of it. He really is the one that influences most of the play calls. So you got Andy Reid and Steve Spagnuolo, and those 2 guys are going to figure it out. They've got a great pass rush. Their secondary is good enough. And here's the bottom line. You cannot get Patrick Mahomes off the field on 3rd down.
Mm-hmm.
He finds a way to just keep the chains moving. Those long drives wear you out. The ball comes out quickly, but he's also able to elude the rush. Yes, the Texans have a good pass rush, but Mahomes is so elusive in the pocket, keeping his eyes downfield. He'll take off now and then, sure. When you play man-to-man against him and you got your defense turning the back to him, he'll take off. But most of the time, he's just looking for 87. He's looking for 87 between the hash marks on 3rd down.
Yeah.
Yep.
Agreed.
2 minutes, my friend. You like to box them, take them down on the block. You have no problem beating them in basketball. What do you think Aaron Glenn has dialed up for Daniels?
Well, listen, I have a tremendous amount of respect for Jaden Daniels. I've covered a lot of Commanders games in Philly, in Washington, on the road, at home. What's the common denominator? He's unbelievable on 3rd down, unbelievable in the 4th quarter. If the game is close in the 4th quarter, I believe the Commanders will have a shot to win the game.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Commanders have a shot to win the game. 9.5 points is way, way, way too many points in this game. And I also like the over. I think the over-under is like 55.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah, I like the over in this game. But I would, without a doubt, I like the Commanders in this spot. I do. They are a hot team offensively. I think Detroit certainly is as well. Detroit may be having to play without one of their starting guards. In this football game, it looks like a backup guard may be playing in this game. I kind of like the Commanders a little bit. Keep it close. Take a shot at winning it in the fourth quarter. This is, to me, the game of the week. I know everybody's talking about Ravens-Bills, but this Jaden Daniels, what he is able to do in threatening defenses on third down and in the fourth quarter, he's in such great shape. He's so fluid and quick. The ball comes out quick. You saw his ball handling ability against the Bucs is terrific. Down near the goal line, he's able to find guys in the end zone. I kind of like them to hang in there in the fourth quarter and see what happens.
Yeah, I'm with you. Sal Pal, always a pleasure. Thanks so much for taking some time here on a Friday to join us before the divisional round. Enjoy the games this weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
Got to follow the money, baby. Love your show. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Yep. Back at you. There you go. The great Sal Paolantonio with us here on the Progressive Guest Line. And for those of you listening to the show today for the first time on Sirius XM Channel 158, we're back there. Sal joins us every week during the football season. More player props that we have coming up next, including the highest and lowest scoring team odds that we have on the board. If this team shocks the world, it should be in a shootout.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Welcome back. The owner and CEO of this great property, Circa Resort and Casino, Derek Stevens, in studio coming up in 15 minutes. They run the biggest legal sports betting and football contests in the entire world, and they take a lot of sharp money here as well. We'll find out where that money is at so far leading into those games coming up on Saturday and Sunday. So to Sal Pal's point, Sal Pal joined us in the previous segment from ESPN. He thinks the Commanders, it sounded to me like he's giving them a good shot to win the game. And he said if they're in it late in the fourth quarter, he thinks that they're probably going to win the game because Daniels is so good. They
can be loose, no doubt. I don't expect them to be 150-1 to win the Super Bowl before the season.
Yeah. So we talk about this every week during the regular season and into the playoffs. Highest scoring team, lowest scoring team props. When you look at the numbers on the board, I'll use Circa odds here. The Lions are plus 170 for highest scoring team. Bills and Ravens are behind them. Then you get the Chiefs and the Eagles. The Commanders are plus 875. If you are in the camp that Sal Pal is in, and you think they have a great shot to win the game outright, obviously you're taking the points. You're probably dabbling on the money line. Do you not throw a little bit down on almost 9-1? How do the Commanders win this game like 21-17?
Yeah, can't see it.
I do not see that happening. So if they win, I think it's probably going to be in a shootout. And you can also throw a little bit on that number right there to have a nice return.
And maybe it opens it up for these other games if the Lions get out to a comfortable lead and they coast. And maybe if that comes into play too, and then you get, because the Texans were 28-1 last week, and they cashed. So last week, home teams went 5-1 straight up, and unders went 5-1. And lowest scoring team, the Texans are 2-1 as the favorite. And again, a lot of that plays into this too is the weather in Philly. They're not giving the Rams much of a chance to move the ball with the 4 to 5 inches of snow and a nasty Philadelphia defense. But that's difficult too with lowest scoring team. Denver cashed last week, 7 points. They were 5-1. Commanders plus 750. It's a tough game.
I'll give you another one.
I could see them getting to 24 though, but that's even if they lose. And it opens it up for maybe a big ticket cash is there as well. Maybe Spags shuts down Stroud, they don't do anything, and it comes in with ease, or maybe it's just it's a running attack. No one's throwing the ball, long drives in the Buffalo game, and it doesn't come close to the total. There could be a surprise in that game. Maybe it turns out to be a lower scoring game. That could certainly be in play.
I use the same angle on the lowest scoring team that I just used on the Commanders. I don't think it's going to be a low scoring game if they win it. I don't think it's going to be low scoring anyway.
Yeah.
And so if they win, I think it's going to be plenty of points being scored. Lowest scoring team to me, If you think the Rams have a chance to go there and win, and again, Matthew Stafford in December and January with the Rams 18-3, if you think they can win the game, are the Rams going to go to Philadelphia in snow and win in a shootout? Their defense, again, let me remind you that I'll throw Week 18 out the window. Their starters did not play. So the last 4 games that the Rams starters have played, the defense has not allowed 10 points in any of those games. So I'm just saying, if the Rams beat the Eagles, and I don't think they're going to, but if they are, this to me could be 17-16. Eagles score the 16 points. They're plus 975, 950 in that range to be the lowest scoring team of the weekend.
Yep.
That's the angle.
Yep. They adjust, contain Barkley, and Hurts struggles again. And the weather's too much to overcome. Not bad. Not a bad angle.
Yeah, and so another reason why you might want to take a peek at the Commanders again for the highest scoring team, and we'll tie this into the G-Bank bet of the day. What quarterbacks have done on the ground specifically against Detroit, going back now the last couple of years, has been pretty alarming. Right, this is a thing. We talked about this yesterday. You're paying a tax for these quarterback rushing yards, and we went back and looked at the regular season prop numbers, like when Josh Allen played the Lions. Well, his rushing yards prop in that game was the highest of the year. Is that an accident? No. Jane Daniels, same for this week. It's the highest I think it's been the entire year. It's because quarterbacks over the last 2 or 3 years have had a lot of success running the football. Justin Fields had more than 100 yards against them. He scored, I think, a couple of touchdowns on the ground. I'll get the overall numbers here for you in a second. But Daniels is sitting around 53.5 for this game. If Glenn blitzes, again, that's going to open up a lot of areas for him in running room. Doesn't that have to be the G-Bank bet of the day? Yep. Trusting Daniels Hill against this defense?
And I believe the Kyler Murray cashed on the first drive, too. So Fields, 12 for 58 in a score. Fields, 18 for 104. Jackson, 9 for 36. Mahomes, 45. Fields again, 132. Allen, 78 and a touchdown. Danny Dimes, 50. Hurts, 90 and a touchdown. That's 2022, 2023. Playoffs, Mayfield, 15. Purdy had 48
5
yards.
for 48, yeah.
Yeah. And then this year, there's the Murray, 5 for 45, which happened early on right in the game. Baker had 34 and a touchdown. Sam Darnold had 40.
39 yards.
Yep.
Look at Rudolph.
Yeah, 29 and a touchdown. Richardson had 51. Williams, 39. Allen, 68. Williams again, 34. Purdy, 12 yards and a touchdown. Darnold, in the other game, 3 for 10.
Thanks to our buddy PointShaver13 on X for sharing that information, by the way.
So over 53.5, Daniels rushing yards prop. Best bets brought to you by G-Bank, official bank of VEASAN. If you're serious about sports betting, you need the G-Bank Visa Signature Card. Most credit cards treat sports books and gaming transactions as cash advances, even when you put your own money on the card. G-Bank treats gaming transactions as purchases, so you're typically saving up to 3 to 5% on cash advance fees right there. And for a limited time, get a $250 bonus after you spend $1,000 in the first 90 days. Apply now. VEASAN.com/GBank. VEASAN.com/GBank. Subject to credit approval.
Pauly, I also laddered Jaden Daniels up to 80-plus yards at plus 305. I bet him 90-plus yards at plus 470, and I threw on 100-plus yards just in case he goes nuts here, and that's 7-1. Those are much smaller bets, but I think there's an angle here where Daniels can go absolutely nuts. And as you just documented, Justin Fields, now he can't throw like Daniels can, obviously, but he has 2 separate games where he ran for more than 100 yards against the Lions defense. Okay.
Yeah. Most passing yards. Goff plus 230. Mahomes plus 450. Daniels 6-1. Allen plus 650. CJ plus 750. Stafford plus 850. Lamar 9-1, Hurts 17-1.
I don't see Hurts. I don't think 17-1 would be worth it for me.
Maybe the weather is too much for Lamar. Coldest game he's ever played in. And down Flowers likely. Chance to play, doubtful.
Yeah.
Everything looks good for Goddard, by the way. Goddard's good to go.
What if the Bills get out to a 14-0 lead? Do they abandon the run?
Boy. You can't.
I don't think you can either.
No. Most passing yards Saturday. Goff plus 130, Mahomes plus 260, Daniels 4-1, Stroud plus 425.
There's actually
what if the Texans are getting blown
certainly
out?
An angle for Stroud.
Yes, that could be 14-0 Chiefs early. Most passing yards on Sunday only. Allen plus 160, Stafford plus 225, Lamar plus 275, Hurts 5-1. Most receiving yards, Puka 4-1, Nico 5, St. Brown 6, AJ plus 850, McLaurin, 9.
Oh,
Williams,
9-1 for McLaurin.
yeah, not bad. Williams, 11. I was looking, I'm getting nuts with Brown.
What? Yeah, he
He's
came,
like, wasn't he like 70? He's down to 50. Brown with Washington, 50-1.
that's for the whole weekend, right?
Yeah.
Man.
Kelsey, 35. Hollywood, 40. Laporta, 30. Bateman and Shakir, 25-1. Worthy, 20-1. Devontae Smith, 20-1. Jamison Williams, 11-1.
Isn't there an angle for Brown to do it for the Commanders? Even at 50-1 came down. You shop around, you might find a 75 or 100 still at different books.
Most rushing. You got your two big boys up top.
Hold
Barkley.
on. Let me expand on that real quick.
Gotcha.
I have yards allowed per game to wide receiver number 2s.
Okay.
The Lions allowed in the regular season 64.5 yards. That is the most in the entire NFL. They also allowed almost 70 yards per game to wide receiver number 1. That would be McLaurin. So Brown would be wide receiver number 2 on this team for sure. Sorry, I cut you up.
Yeah,
Go ahead without rushing.
Every team to score a touchdown, by the way, is minus 250 at Will Hill Caesars. That surprises me. Thought it'd be higher than that. And then at DraftKings, most rushing yards, Barkley plus 170, Henry 3-1, Gibbs plus 550, Williams 7-1, Mixon 18, Cook 20, Montgomery 25, and then we get into the quarterbacks. Lamar, Daniels 30-1, Allen 50, Hurts 60.
Oh. I could see one of the quarterbacks actually doing it. I could see Daniels.
Remember 2 years ago in the game, it was a blowout, and they brought in Gainwell? Gainwell had the most rushing yards.
Yeah, and I've heard people make the case for Gainwell this week.
Yeah.
Just
he
in
ripped
case.
one off late, and
Oh, I used to love
Catch
Kenneth
that prop.
Gainwell. Before they got Barkley, I
Yeah.
used to love betting him like first touchdown. He did, by the way, in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs, and they called it back. That cost me, I think it was, let's just say thousands. It was a lot of money.
most rushing yards on Sunday. Barkley plus 115, Henry 2-1, Williams 5, Cook 13, Lamar 20, Allen 30, Hurts 40, Gainwell 150.
God, you get 2-1 on Henry. 2-1 on Derrick Henry, and there are four teams playing.
Yeah, he's got to have at least 22 carries. Feels it, right?
It's 19 and a half. I think I like that a lot over too.
8 postseason games, half of them 150 yards.
Oh Jesus!
I mean, it's
the owner and CEO of Circa Resort and Casino, Derek Stevens, joins the program coming up next. Circa operates the 2 biggest legal football betting contests in the world. They also take a lot of big bets. Where are they seeing sharp money? I think I can guess one of the games. We'll do that next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Welcome back. We're live downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino as we broadcast from this great property every single day and now 24/7 on Sirius XM channel 158. And the owner and the CEO of this outstanding property, Derek Stevens, joins us here in studio today. Great seeing you.
Great to see you. Congratulations. Channel 158, back
Huge
on
day,
Sirius.
right? Yeah.
Great.
you got it, buddy.
So when I got here today, I had to do a double take on the board because I noticed Baltimore was up to 1.5 here at your sports book. And I'm thinking, wait a second here. You guys were at pick the entire week when everybody else had like Baltimore 1 or 1.5. And then right before we came on the air, it jumped to 2. I'm like, more money on Baltimore. And that to me tells it kind of a light bulb went off in my brain. You guys are suddenly, you went above everywhere else in the market saying, hey, if you want to bet the Bills, you got to come here and bet them.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what happened. Just as I walked in here when we were talking about that, I just checked the numbers, and boy, oh boy, the money's coming in today.
Okay.
It's something. Last weekend was unbelievable. We really didn't know what to expect because you have Super Wild Card Weekend, but for the first time ever, we've got the lead up with the 2 college games, and I think I mentioned to you guys this was going to be a massive volume weekend last weekend, which it was. Now this weekend, with a 3-day weekend coming up and 4 huge games, and then the national championship game, this is going to be another monster weekend of handle.
You think it's bigger than last weekend?
I think on a per game basis, it will be. Yes, I think the game Saturday night is this thing is teed up. I mean, this is unbelievable. You got both number one seeds playing on Saturday, and then you're going into the NFL's dream matchup of Josh versus Lamar on Sunday. Sunday is the late game, so I think both late games Saturday and Sunday are gonna see handle numbers that are that we've probably never seen before.
So it exceeded your expectations last week. Are you still going to stick to your stance and opinion that Super Wildcard Weekend, along with the college playoff games, will be number 2 behind March Madness?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're right there. I actually mentioned to the LVCVA, I had a meeting with them earlier this week, and I said, Super Wildcard Weekend now for us is one of the very top couple weekends of the year in Vegas. That's how significant this has become.
It's incredible. You're a lifelong Detroit Lions fan. How nervous are you for Saturday night?
I'm. It's a playoff game, so you always got to be nervous. But I do feel good about. I do feel good. I want the Lions to be exactly where they're at. They're getting Arnold back. David Montgomery's back.
Yep.
This town and this team is made for this. This is these things. It takes years to build up, and you think about from back on Hard Knocks a couple years ago, expectations were high, get knocked down. And then last year surprised everybody. And then all the way to halftime of the NFC Championship game, everything will look good. And then boom, let down. This is a team step by step has done what you really hope for. And if you're a Lions fan, you just love it. So now I feel good going into Saturday night.
Are you concerned at all that great game plan and how they frustrated Darnold maybe doesn't seem that great after he wet himself Monday night?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you saw what O'Connell did, Detroit was up, I think 21-9 at one point. They traded touchdowns for a field goal, and they took this dominant position in that Viking game. I think after seeing what Darnold did, yeah, I mean, he cost himself a lot of money on the last couple of weeks. But I think Detroit played well. I think Detroit going in this weekend. I'm not surprised that we've got two big favorites going in, playing out on Saturday. Handle wise, it's money line to money line. It's two games that they're teasing every element's getting teased. So yeah. Handle wise is good. But no, I'd say as far as the Lions go, no, I feel pretty good with where they're at right now.
You agree with this? If both home teams win Saturday, we're guaranteed a great Super Bowl matchup, no matter what prop standpoint, game interest, everything.
If
Kansas City and Detroit win, just Saturday, just those two teams.
If Kansas City and Detroit win, we're guaranteed a heck of a championship Sunday. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And obviously we have the Super Bowl exactas up.
Yes.
I've looked through it really at this point. They're all great. Because how they land, we're going to have an incredible Super Bowl, and obviously if the two home teams win on Saturday, it kind of locks it up.
How was the check presentation ceremony?
Man, that was a lot of fun. That was the most amount of money we ever gave away. $14.2 million on Circa Survivor, $6 million on Circa Millions. It was fun, and we met a lot of characters. That came up this year. We got to meet for the first time, and it was great deal. I'm glad VSiN was able to live stream it. I couldn't believe there were 11,000 viewers at one time on the live stream watching the check presentation ceremony.
Yeah, we'll give it a couple of years. That bad boy might get to six figures.
Man, wouldn't that be something?
I would not be surprised. No.
Holy smokes!
You had a Vodka Johnny update?
Oh. Yeah, when I came in and I talked to you a couple of weeks ago about Vodka Johnny, I have to admit now I only knew a part of the story, right? So I thought it was, the six guys, and Johnny was one, and then the brothers bought him out. There's only five guys, and they didn't tell Johnny about it all. Well, you have to declare when you go set up with Jeff Benson to collect the money. You gotta say, okay, who's part of your team, what percentage, all that. Do you know that even though Johnny himself was kind of out of the mix, there were 17 Vodka Johnnies.
Oh,
17. We've never had anything like this. Yeah. These guys were all cutting it up. This Vodka Johnny story is unbelievable. And what I told you about how the original guy got kind of bought out, and nobody told him the whole season long. Well, I find it even more perplexing that there were 17 people that were actually part of Vodka Johnny. So you can declare the form, and it gets split up, accordingly. Some guys got 10%, some guys got 5%, some guys got 20%. There were a lot of guys that were in this thing that had that had 1%. So they were all cutting it up. It was crazy.
17. Okay. Wow. And by the way, for the new audience today on Sirius XM channel 158, Derek told this story a couple of weeks ago. It's one of the best stories you're going to hear probably the entire year about what happened in Circa Survivor. And VSiN tweeted it out. You can go and look for it on the Twitter account, or you can search like at VSiN Live and Vodka Johnny. You can't miss it. It took off. It went viral, and it's an incredible story. So other than that number moving today on the Baltimore side, are you pretty split, like even 50-50 with the other games so far?
Yeah, so far Handle's been coming in great. Obviously, we got to be seeing some Baltimore money right now. But so far we've been pretty two-way. I know we're hanging at 9. So Circa Sports in the 5 states that Circa Sports is in. So Colorado, Iowa, Illinois, Nevada, and Kentucky. We have the lines at a 9. Most places are a 9.5 right now. So this is kind of interesting. We've got pretty good two-way on everything at this point.
Okay. Luke, how long is that clip? Can we sneak? Okay, this is great. Happy birthday to Golden Gate. I saw you guys all over the news. You were great on Instagram. I set it up at it. Golden Gate turned 119 years old. Here's Derek earlier this week on Instagram.
Everybody, I'm coming to you here from the iconic Golden Gate Hotel and Casino. Very first hotel in Vegas. Phone number was 1, address was 1 Fremont Street. And next week we have an incredible milestone coming up. It's the 119th birthday of the Golden Gate. And next week we're going to hold some behind the scenes tours, some historical tours. They're going to show, front of house, back of house, the basement of the Golden Gate. And you're going to get to see some kind of rare artifacts we've had stashed away for a while. And you get to walk in some of the footsteps of some of the great history that came out of this beautiful property. But here's the catch. I'm only offering this to 25 lucky winners. If you want to join us in commemorating this birthday, click on the link below, fill out your information, and our social media team is going to pick out 25 winners to take this tour with me and with a lot of our team. Get those submissions in. We'll see you here next week to celebrate birthday 119 of the Golden Gate Hotel and Casino.
I can't believe the history where Sinatra and Dean Martin had drinks at the Prohibition Bar. You can see the fountain and the high limit. Also, if you pull the knob, you see the original wall. You mentioned the book and the phone that's up there and the sign-in book as well. The history is 119 years old. I can't believe it.
Yeah, you got the gambling ledgers up there. This is 30 years before legal gambling. So you can see everybody signing in and out. We took people down in the basement. That's where the secret speakeasy bar called the Keyhole Bar was. This was during Prohibition, so wow. that's where the bars were.
Oh my God! Can you bring that back?
That'd be interesting.
That'd be wild.
It'd be a lot of fun.
Great job on social media with that. CircaLasVegas.com. You want to stay here or any of the 3 properties, CircaLasVegas.com. VSiN 15, by the way, to get 15% off Circa the D or the Golden Gate. Love the gate. That's the history there. I didn't know that about the high limit. If you pulled the knob, you could see the original wall that's behind it. Great
You're
job
in that room a lot.
I know. Yeah. Great job putting that on social media. I never knew that.
For those coming to town this weekend, are you going to be on your normal perch watching the games?
Absolutely. Won't miss a game.
All right. Thanks for stopping by as always. We appreciate that, Derek. We will spend a couple of minutes going over the basketball card that we have. How about this total tomorrow between Alabama and Kentucky, one of the highest you're ever going to see?
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
This weekend is so good. The divisional round is the absolute nuts. You get some of the bad teams out of the playoffs, and now the teams that were off a bye, the best teams all year long. And by the way, you have the Monday night national title game in college football, and it all actually starts tomorrow morning out here on the West Coast in college basketball, noon Eastern time. Kentucky is hosting Alabama. They open up 3.5-point favorites. The Wildcats did. They're down to 2.5, so some money on Bama. But the total, Pauly, is 179.5. Remember last year when Bama played Arizona, the total was around, I think, 185. That was the highest total I can ever remember seeing in college basketball. You don't get too many, specifically like in Power 4 or 5 leagues, where that total is right on the edge and pushing 180. I mean, that's Ken Pom has it 90 to 89.
Yeah. How about Kentucky's small favorite? Alabama, after getting embarrassed in their last home game, is a 12-point favorite.
I think 3.5 was a little bit too high here.
Okay.
And I agree with the move coming down.
Right.
Although Kentucky at home is an animal. They are awesome at home.
After the 106-100 against Florida, you certainly hard to make the case for the under, though, in this game at 179.5.
Right.
And then Auburn also plays Georgia an hour later. Auburn 16-1 and 5.5 on the road against Georgia, who's now ranked and had the big week, the big win last time out. So it's just we're doing this every night in the SEC with all these top teams going head to head.
Yeah, I saw that number open up higher than that. So there's money on Georgia today for sure. What do you say in the NBA about OKC after last night? That doesn't make you sound completely ridiculous, Paul. I mean, we're watching. This team is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, they're so good. I think they're so much better than like the next team in the league. And I'm not saying that based on one game. They're doing this, and by the way, they did it last night without 2 of their best players on defense.
Maybe one of the best teams ever defensively. When you see, again, we've talked about the gap between number 1 and number 2. OKC and the next team, Orlando, is the same gap between 2 and 13. You're right. Mitchell was worse. I couldn't believe it. Than he was the first time. It went in the torture chamber again. And now that they've shut him down both games, and you don't have Chet, you don't have Hartenstein, and it was a rocking chair win, and they're up 40 points on what is maybe the second or third best team in the NBA.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. So
it's a back-to-back tonight against the Mavericks.
Yeah.
But I don't think too much really phases this team. Here are some of the numbers overall. At DraftKings, they're down to plus 260 to win the title. They're plus 125 to win the West. You see this move now to get the 1 seed. They're minus 6,000 to get the 1 seed. SGA, after 40 points last night, spectacular yet again. Boy, is he on a mission or what? He's minus 250 to win the MVP. And you mentioned the torture chamber. Mitchell was horrendous yet again. Dort is 35 to 1 to win Defensive Player of the Year. SGA is 40 to 1. Doing this without Chet. He only played 10 games this year.
Yeah. You are concerned at all about the Cavs or just one of those nights?
No, I mean, I think OKC,
that's what they're doing offensively, though, too. They got whatever they wanted in that game.
I know.
And to blast them like that, and the game was over in the second quarter.
I am filled with nothing but regret after last night's game. That should have been. I loved OKC. I never bet them. I was scared because of the Hartenstein thing. That should have been my biggest bet of the entire year. I know it's easy to say that right now, but this team, if you go back to last year, when I was on this team in the summertime before the year even started, I loved them. I thought they were going to have a breakout year, and they did, and they were the 1 seed. It's only going to get better. And by the way, look at the upcoming drafts that we have in the NBA. They are just filled with nothing but first-round picks from other teams.
Yep.
So if they're smart about this, they're going to be able to move those for guys that make sense and just keep adding to what they already have. They're a machine.
You got the Timberwolves-Knicks game after the big trade. And the Knicks won the first one. What do you think about could the Knicks be in a game where it's 2-19, though? With the way they're playing offensively and what they're allowing defensively?
Well, plus, don't you think that the Wolves have a bitter taste in their mouths after getting blown out in that first game?
Yeah.
They were smoked. I did bet Anthony Edwards over 3.5 threes.
Back on it? Okay.
Yeah, it's plus money. So a couple things here. The Knicks' three-point defense, they allow 37.3% from downtown. That is 25th in the league. Edwards, you go back to last year, you know how some players step up when they play like at the Garden. Last year, this is totally a narrative. I get that. But he had 35 points in that game, 4 made threes at the Garden. But more importantly to me, in January, he's averaging 10.5 attempts from downtown and making almost 5 per game. That's 45.2%. So if you're going to offer me him plus money on over 3.5, I got to take it.
All right. I like Denver if it's going to be Joker. It was 1.5 up to 2.5. He was questionable. You know, the Heat getting Butler back, but that could be a negative. They've talked about the guys in the locker room, how it's been great without the chaos while he was suspended.
Yeah.
But there's an article on ESPN.com that Jimmy, you ain't seen nothing yet. Jimmy's just getting started. About if he wants out, he's going to be a major pain.
Of course he will be.
So that is, yeah. So don't necessarily say, okay, well, he comes back, he's going to play ball, whatever, and how that'll turn out. And he reiterated he wants to be traded to Riley. Let me give you this, and Paul George is questionable tomorrow. The 76ers may pivot on their plan this year, depending on what happens coming up. They might be sellers. 10 of the next 11 games are against teams at or above 500. 8 of them are back-to-backs. Embiid's out. Embiid's out, the next 7 to 10 days? Again, he won't play in Denver. They're no minus 140 to make the playoffs.
So they might be sellers. Like, who are they going to get rid of? They're going to say that we whiffed on Paul George. We're going to trade him. They won't trade Embiid.
They need to keep their draft pick, too, which I think is top 6 protected. They are currently the 11th seed.
Yeah.
9 games under 500. And now with Embiid out and George still hobbled, and then they got guys back, but they're still losing games. They've lost 4 in a row at Indiana, at Milwaukee, at Denver, Cleveland, Chicago, Lakers, Sacramento, Denver, Boston, Dallas, Miami, ton of back-to-backs. Look at this.
I hope they lose 10 in a row.
Oh, man.
Totally backfired. And don't tell me they're going to trade Maxey.
Oh, I think they do that.
They cannot get rid of that guy. Well, if they're going to be, again, though, but who are they going to sell? So
what's the interest in Paul George, too? I don't know.
I have 0.
Yeah.
None.
Hey, look how that worked out in Los Angeles.
He's got to be one of the most overpaid players in any sport in the last 10 years.
They're probably going to win the division. And they didn't have Kawhi till a week ago.
Right. Let me ask you this. So on that Nuggets-Heat game, Nuggets had won 4 straight before they lost on a back-to-back to Houston. There was no joker in that game.
Yeah, I throw it out.
And you had Sacramento last night -4.
Yeah, got a little fortunate, but got there. Yeah,
I watched the entire second half of that game. First of all, yeah, okay, maybe a little fortunate you did. I got to tell you, the Kings and the Rockets, they are going to be fun for nobody to play in the playoffs. Both those teams, the way the Kings are operating right now under Doug Christie, they are a joy to watch, and I actually get more joy out of watching Houston play.
I can't believe this guy's doing this. That he also would command the respect of the guys where he was, it was well documented when he played, he was whipped. With the guy.
Oh, Christie with the wife.
Yeah.
Okay.
The stuff he had to do, because she was so insecure and so freaked out that he would be like other guys and mess around on the road. She would drive behind the team bus.
And they'd have to be on the phone together.
Right. And then he would have to signal during games when he would score. It goes years back. But
it's one of the most outrageous stories you're ever going to see in sports. I'm not making that up.
She totally got him by the onions.
Yeah.
And the stuff he would have to do, check in all the time. Are you in your hotel room? Where are you now? Following the team bus. Got to be on the phone. Do the hand gesture when you score. Make sure you notice me in the stands. I mean come on.
It's honestly, the first time that this is presented to you, the relationship is over with.
Yeah. Yeah, he goes
you laugh and you say,
sure.
what's wrong with you? There's no chance it's going to happen.
And I thought there was no way this was going to work out because it's like, but okay, maybe it's just old enough that people don't remember and been long ago that, but he's doing a hell of a job. And Mike Brown was coach of the year a couple of years ago.
Think about that,
how they're playing, yeah. But to your earlier point, you're right about they're going to be a tough out in the playoffs and Houston might even get the 2 seed.
Oh, Houston's fantastic.
What they're doing, yeah. Great story.
What a future they have. I love so many of their parts. Green's been on a mission this year. Again, last night when I didn't play it, but he went over the 3.5, made threes at plus money. Sengun is outstanding. There's a reason why they're calling him or have been calling him like Baby Joker now for a while. And by the way, Thompson, one of the Thompson brothers, both of those kids, one on the Pistons, one on the Rockets, like elite defensively. So both those teams in the playoffs, watch out.
Raptors Bucks should be a track meet tonight too. Milwaukee 10.5, 233.5 the total. The Bulls have been playing some unders, but 235 might be a little low going against the Hornets, and then Grizzlies Spurs could have all the makings again too with how Memphis plays, but that's 240. Getting ready for big game 59 with a big deal to match. Save $59 off a VSiN Pro annual subscription when you sign up using promo code FTM. Become a VSiN Pro annual subscriber. Bet smarter all year long. Every best bet, every host, every guest. The betting splits from DraftKings and Circa. 24/7 video access. Tune in anywhere on the VSiN Watch app and the betting guides. VSiN.com/subscribe. Code FTM. Save $59 off the VSiN Pro annual subscription today. Incredible job every day with what's up there and available. Every single sport. Even got Nigel checking in with the tennis and the soccer.
One of the best play-by-play guys in the business. Ian Eagle on the program up next. He watches these teams up close and personal every single year. We'll ask him how he sees this Baltimore-Buffalo matchup going.